Welcome to the Women's Wealth Zone VideoJam, designed to help you get into your wealth zone so you can access true wealth, satisfy your deepest desires, and live a life beyond your wildest dreams. Your host for the series is Leela Somaya, unconventional business mentor, transformational strategist, and spiritual lawyer.
Welcome to Women's Wealth Zone, where women leaders reveal how following your truth catalyzes your wealth zone, world change, and life that is just beyond your wildest dreams. And I'm Leela Somaya. I'm your host for this event, and I get interviewed today by my amazing, beautiful, brilliant friend, colleague, peer coach, Tara Butler. And Tara is just someone who is such a gift in my life. And she's gotten up early in California time to get all ready and beautiful for you for this interview. So I'm so grateful, Tara, for you being here today to do this with me. Welcome.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Of course I would do this for you. I would do anything for you. And it's an honor to be here to interview you today and to highlight who you are so that your audience can really get to know why this event is so important to you and you know why you are so passionate about talking about this. So I'm excited to be here and be part of it.
Awesome. Yeah. And I want you all to know that Tara had too busy a schedule right now to be on this event, but you'll see her on future, the next one I do. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you notice that she's absent, that's why. And because I asked her too late because I was on vacation a lot in August and just admitting it. And yeah, but she's an amazing business coach too. And I look forward to sharing your wisdom, Tara, on a future event.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, I want to give a formal introduction to you. You know, this is a woman who needs to know an introduction in some ways, but when we host events like this, sometimes people don't know who we are, and that's why we're here today, because I think Leela has so much to share, and it's so important for her to share her own wisdom and her own passion. So let me tell you a little bit about her. So Leela is really what she calls the unconventional business mentor, transformational strategist, and spiritual lawyer. Don't hear that very often. She works with visionary women entrepreneurs, just like you, to catalyze your wealth zone by unapologetically following your truth, no matter what. And Leela shows you how to find your purpose and turn it into a lucrative business using innovative business strategies so that you can magnetize your tribe, make consistent income, and live a life beyond your wildest dreams. She dares and inspires you to bring your whole self to business and life instead of holding back parts of yourself because they don't fit into some mold. And she so lives by that in her own business and her own life. She brings over 15 years of Fortune 500 experience, as well as a lifetime of transformation and spirituality, to her mission of helping you start and grow a world-changing business that is both profitable and transforms lives. So welcome, Leela.
Oh, thank you, Tara. It's so fun.
It's always fun to do the formal introduction because people, they don't necessarily know what inspired you and what brought you on this journey.
Yeah.
So I know that your audience wants to know, how do you define wealth?
Well, it's just a question that I've been working with for a long time. And it's, to me, one of the reasons I wanted to introduce this conversation and to have this event is because I want wealth to be defined beyond money. And money is very important. It's a key component. But there are some other pieces that I believe need to happen first to find true wealth. And, some of that just has to do with, if you have a lot of money, we all know people like this who have a lot of money and are miserable, right? So
yeah.
It's important to be in a place where you're in alignment, where you're in tune with, what am I here to do on this planet? What is my unique mission? And I am going to tie this to my journey, because I essentially came to this planet knowing that I had a spiritual mission, that I had something bigger to do. And then I had a lot of conditioning and a lot of training to be practical and to be a business person and a lawyer. Well, my parents are doctors, right? So thankfully they didn't do what a lot of Indian parents do, which is to say you need to be a doctor or an engineer. Because I was smart in school and I was good at those subjects, but I had no desire to be a doctor or an engineer. So thankfully, at least my parents were more expanded in their vision, and I had 4 careers to choose from, or 4 areas, right? And
because it's so unconventional to be a lawyer.
and I was naturally argumentative, so I became, and I've been debating about things all my life. So and I had the courage to stand up to my father, who could be kind of scary, but I was like, but that's not right. I must stand for justice. And even when my mother or my brother may not have wanted me to stand up for them, I did. So I always had a lot of courage to stand up for things. So people were always telling me you should be a lawyer. And that was great for a while. And I'm actually one of the few people who enjoyed law school, which is kind of bizarre. Most people don't enjoy law school, but I enjoyed it because I got to, I chose a school. Well, I won't go into the entire story because I'll get distracted on tangents, but I essentially had chosen a school where I could explore things other than just standard law. I could study power privilege in the law, feminist jurisprudence, critical race theory. And I was really into this, and being a research assistant for these great professors. And so I've always had this desire to give to the world and do something more with my life. And then there was the practical side of, because I got an undergrad business degree. I then went to law school, and then I thought I was going to do estate planning, which really bored me to tears. So I didn't do that. Then I became a contract negotiator, a strategic alliance manager in major corporations, and had a lot of fun with that for a while. And then I got to a place where I was like, I am making a lot of money. I look like I have everything on paper. I have a handsome, successful husband. I have a beautiful child. I live in $1 million house. I make a, 6-figure income, well into the 6 figures, and I'm miserable and I don't want to be here. And the only thing that makes me happy really right now is my son. That's the place I was in. And so I looked like I had everything on the outside that people define as wealth. And I realized, I didn't realize I was going to share this, but I think I am going to share this right now. I actually, I went through, I went through this period of okay, so you've heard about the spiritual side and the practical side. And I was really not allowing my spiritual side, the part of me that was into personal growth and transformation, to have a life or to manifest, or it was on the side. And I felt really depressed, and I would self-medicate by, binge drinking and overeating. And, well, eating I'm still working with. I don't binge eat anymore, but, I have extra weight on me that I want to drop. But in any case, getting back to what I was talking about, I love digressing, as you've noticed. And
what I love about you, though.
Yeah, see, I'm totally unscripted right now. This is Leela unscripted. So I got to this place where I just knew I couldn't do it anymore. And I ended up, I tried life coaching for a while, and I was with a company that really inspired me for a while. And then I realized that they were actually not about changing the world. They were more about making money, and there were all these things wrong inside the company. And I felt like I can't have my dream. It's crashing again, because I had really gone for it. And it was sad. And then I felt and then my husband was telling me, well, just go get a job. Just go, because I'm always employable. Unfortunately, my resume still gets hits from several years ago that I haven't even redone because I have these kinds of skills that are very desirable. And so I got this legal consulting job, and I ended up in a place where I was about to start the job, and I was at a party, and I had way too much to drink at the party because I did not want to start this job. And I ended up I got a DUI. I ended up in a car accident, and I could have killed myself. I could have killed other people. And thankfully, no one got hurt. You know, the cars got hurt, but no one got hurt. I got a scratch on my wrist. I mean, it was quite shocking.
Wow.
And I realized that I needed to tune into something different, that I needed to actually start following my truth that I'd been ignoring, that I'd been pushing down. And it was time for me to do that. Otherwise, I would actually hurt other people or hurt myself, or my son wouldn't have a mother anymore. And the thought of that, like I never tried to commit suicide, but I definitely had dark moments where it's like, I don't want to be here. And thank God I had my son, because I did not want to leave my son without a mother. So
Wow.
he kept me going through those times, but I had all the trappings of wealth, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I love about the story is, you know, it just goes to show, like, there's a definition of success that we have in our culture, and that, you know, that you bought into for a long time. And it wasn't, you know, because you're so energetically sensitive and so tuned in, and your spirituality was always bubbling up, even though you grew up in this real conventional family. Like, you started to realize that this is not what life is about. And what I love is that you kept trying the next thing. You're like, is this it? Is this it? Until you started to really uncover what it is that, you know, that really was driving you. And I always say life is perfect. That journey is part of why you're so good at what you do today.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that thank God. You know, sometimes we need that. I always say the universe gives us taps on the shoulder, and if we don't pay attention to that, we get the whack on the head.
Yeah.
And, you know, it sounds like that was both like a wake up call for you, that accident, and set you on a new trajectory.
Yeah.
So after that happened, you know, tell us about, you know, after that happened, you know, how did you find true wealth for yourself? And how does one find true wealth?
Yeah. Well, thank you for all that reflection and witnessing. I appreciate that, Tara. And yeah, it really was my wake-up call. It was the most painful thing I've ever been through, and the best gift I've ever received, as many of you who've been through difficult experiences may have gotten to. And you may still be in that difficult experience. And I want you to know that there is light on the other side, because after that happened to me, I thought, it really felt like my life was over. For that day or that night or that year afterward was really horrible. And then within that year, I launched my business. This happened in June of 2010, and fall of 2011, I launched my first summit. And it wasn't a video event like this. It was a telesummit. It was over the phone. And on that journey of like feeling totally miserable, really ashamed, like I was bad, like I was crazy, like there was something wrong with me, and doing a lot of deep inner work to heal those stories and to realize, no, there's nothing, I'm not bad, I'm not wrong, I'm not crazy, I just wasn't on the right life path. And saying, finding true wealth took being willing to lose all the trappings of the false wealth that people call wealth that I had. And at that point, I mean, things have changed a lot now in my marriage, but at that point, my husband was not at all supportive of my journey to start this business. He wanted me to just buck up and do the corporate thing, because why couldn't I just be like other people? And he's great at it, right? He loves it. He's a leader. He's awesome. I have so much ambition. I had no desire whatsoever to get a promotion, which is, if you know me, that's kind of strange, because I'm always trying to like not advance, but I want to improve myself. I want to go to the next level. I'm very ambitious and motivated. And it was deadening for me. So it took actually being willing to lose my marriage. If that's what it took being willing to say, like, this is my truth and I'm following it, because if I don't follow it, I will self-destruct. I will hurt other people. I won't be here for my son, and I'm here for something bigger, and it's time to stand up for that, and it's time to do that. And it was really scary because because when we got married, I mean,
just gave me goosebumps all over. And it's, I think given the conversations that we've had, it's like, our journeys are perfect, and it's exactly what we need to go that next step. And what you're really talking about is the courage, just like the stock market, which is kind of funny, like the more risk, the more reward. And of course, there's also the possibility of it not going well. But those people who are willing to take the risk are the ones that actually get the reward. Yeah. And the key is, for all of us, is to start paying attention to those taps, right? So that you don't get yourself in a spot where it's such a huge leap of courage, like it was for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm curious, like, what do you think for what's the difference between women who find their wealth zones and ones that don't ever get to that place?
Well, it's a great question, Tara, that I came up with.
I think you might have given it to me. I'd like to think I'm brilliant, but you're really the brilliance.
You all will see the humor in this, because you will see that I ask every person this question. So I was just trying to lighten up the mood there, because we got really heavy, and I just so appreciate you being here with me and asking me these questions, Tara, and your love. Yeah. So the difference for me is that I see is it's like, first it's like, you're gonna go all in. Like, I couldn't have one foot back and like, I can get a corporate consulting job. I'm so employable on paper. I'm not really employable, but I'm employable on paper. So I could have that safety net at any point that I need it. It's there for me. Even now, right? Even with this many years away from it. So it's like, I said, I'm not doing that anymore. I am not taking any more of these consulting jobs. I am going all in. So whatever that is for you in terms of your journey, and going all in to what you want, because that really opens things up for you, signals to the universe that you are showing up for your mission, for your purpose. And when that happens, all sorts of amazing things start to open up for you. Connections, relationships, and so that's one very important distinction, is going all in. Because I see so many women who are like, well, yeah, I want to start this business. They'll put a like, little toe in
the water.
Okay, but 80% of their time will be spent doing other things, and then stick the toe in. I didn't do that. I just said, I have no idea where the money is going to come from. I have no idea, like, what's going to happen in my marriage. I have no idea how I'm going to support my son, so I have to make this work. I have to make this work because I might get divorced. And I don't want to go back to a corporate consulting, legal business consulting type position or job, right? And so going all in is one huge distinction. Another distinction is like having the courage to actually believe that your dream can happen, and saying, yes, this can happen. Not that I don't have my moments of doubt. We all do. And especially as we're going to the next level. And I can tell you that when I opened my doors to my business and the first sale came in for, like, I think it was $88, I was like, oh my God, somebody paid me? Because part of me was believing and part of me was not. But the more that you can be in that part of you that just believes, the further you'll go and the faster you'll go. because you really, like, if you're seeing light reflected out there of like these women you want to be like, you know, you'll hear women on this series who you want to be like, that light is in you, within you. And in this moment, I actually want to share another little story, because in 2010, before my DUI, before my accident in January of 2010, because this happened in June, the accident, I had heard my first telesummit. And I had gotten clued into it by a woman in yoga class. We had a woman from Miami in our New Jersey yoga class who had just moved here. So she was friendly. Most of us don't talk to each other in New Jersey often in class. It takes a while for people to get to know each other. She's around spreading her Miami sun, you know, and she introduced me to Women on the Edge of Evolution, which was a telesummit run by Claire Zammit, Catherine Woodward Thomas. It was amazing. Totally, like, and I totally got into their teachings, which helped heal me from I'm crazy, I'm wrong, I'm bad. And that's where I got the vision for this business. Okay, I'm totally digressing. Cool. But I'm going to go back to the point I was making, which is I, at that moment, like, started listening to this telesummit. And I thought, like, a part of me, a little tiny voice said, I want to run an event like this. Mm-hmm. And then I said... Then all my other voices were like, you can't do that. You're miserable. You just, like, the life coaching thing just blew up on you, and your dream is not going to happen, and you just need to go back to corporate. And I had all that noise and all that, you know, like, you can't do this. And then after the accident, I decided, like, I was going to go for my dream, no matter what. And I was going to commit to becoming the woman who could lead an event like that, no matter what. I was going to do whatever it took. So to tie it back to the question, which you probably thought I wasn't going to do, I think that one of the other things that distinguishes those who really get in their wealth zone and find true wealth is, like, I'm going to do it no matter what. And even though I have those doubting voices, I'm going to do it. And it's, again, going back to the point of being all in, and just illustrating that with a story and telling you that I didn't think I could do my first summit. And now this is my fourth one. And now I'm doing video, which is a total edge for me. So I think that is a huge distinguishing factor, is saying, taking the risk and really navigating that place of fear and having faith, even when you're terrified. And I was kind of terrified of video even just a couple weeks ago. I was making it into this big thing, right? And now here I am doing it. So saying, set a date, like, for whatever it is that you know you want to do, but that you're terrified to do. I just set a date for my first summit, and I became the woman who could lead it. And then from there, I led it, right? And from there, I created 6 figures in 14 months, which I was shocked by. When my first coaching client who signed up with me, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that. And it was like on the spot, a sale, like in my 3rd sales conversation ever. I never thought I could do that, right? But if I hadn't tried, if I hadn't showed up, if I hadn't gotten through, like, oh my God, can I do this? Oh, I can't do this. I would not be here where I am right now, and having the business of my dreams. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think commitment is so huge. It's actually one of the questions I ask when I'm in a sales conversation is, you know, how committed are you to this? Because if someone's not a 9 or 10, I either need to help them get to a 9 or 10, or it's like, I'm not going to help you, because it takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of commitment to make this happen. You don't need to know. I mean, this is the beauty, is that you actually don't need to know how. You just to be, and I think that's where it gets people stopped too. Like you were saying that, I didn't know, I can't do that. I can't do that. It's like, well, in this moment, I don't have the tools and all that stuff, but if I commit to this and I have the courage to go after it, I'll find the tools, I'll find the support, I'll find the mentors who can help make that happen, which you totally did.
Yes.
And so it's like making that commitment and having the courage and to be all in is absolutely critical. So what after you have that, like what are some of the steps to help people get into that wealth zone?
Well, actually,
so they can start to create
I'm going to answer that in a moment, but I want to address something you just said, which is like, what you just pointed out is critical that I had forgotten that I did in this moment because I got so caught up in whatever I was sharing. I hired a business mentor before I launched my business. And I basically said, and I didn't know where the money was going to come from to pay her. Like, I honestly, what I did was I hadn't had any credit cards in my own name since I got from, like getting married. And then at that point, I didn't know if I was going to be with my partner. My parents said to me, you need to build up your credit. So I said, well, they have 0% APR credit cards. I'll sign up for a couple. So I signed up for a couple. I got $15,000 to $20,000 worth of, I looked at it as a 0% loan. And I said, okay, this is how I'm going to start my business. Cause my parents have money. I did not and really I'm not saying there's any shame in taking their money. I wanted to find a way, and I did take some money from them at some point, but I wanted to find a way to start by myself without dipping into the money I had so I couldn't dip into any money I'd ever saved with my corporate work. And I essentially said, I'm going to get these credit cards and I'm going to do as much as I can with what I have on these credit cards. And I'm going to invest in learning from people who have been on this path. And I knew that from the beginning. I don't know how I knew that. I just knew. I didn't have to be convinced. I just knew that was the way to do it, because figuring it out on my own would have taken me a lot longer. So it's why I've had a faster path than some people have, because it takes them a while to figure it out. So for those of you who are all in with whatever your dream is, I just want to say, and this is a step, is to find a mentor that you really, so somehow I managed to tie it back to the question, which is kind of fun.
You did. I was going to say that. Good for you.
Yeah. So I think that is so important. And I have never been cheap in investing in mentors. Like, if I want to work with someone, then I work with them and I find a way to make that happen. And every time, because my commitment to myself is, I'm going to use this investment to catapult myself to the next level. I'm going to make back way more than I invested every time I do that, because I am really serious about following what they tell me to do. Sometimes I argue because I'm a lawyer and I have that in my personality. But, I follow enough, and I actually am I'm very action oriented. So being action oriented is so not just staying in the inspiration. And this is one of the things that makes me really sad about creative spiritual women, is like they can just stay in that inspiration and then not move into the action. And so taking that inspiration and then bringing it into manifestation. And this is the other step that I want you to take right now, is, if you haven't already, to listen to the bonus that you got in activating your wealth zone that you got for signing up for this series, which I'm sorry, it was a little late in getting to you because we had some audio issues that I explained to you in the email. But in any case, you have this access to this Activate Your Wealth Zone audio, and it activates an archetype in you that I like to call, I've decided to rename her, the Wealth Manifester. In the tradition that I've studied, it's kind of fun, or Wealth Weaver, which is one of the names that a woman in my year-long program, Women's Business Leadership University, came up with as we were working with her. She's the archetype that really helps you take your inspiration and bring it into the world. So the first important step that I really want you to take right now is to download that audio if you haven't already and work with that audio. The second step is, I really want you to immerse yourself in the wisdom in this series. And I want you to, in each interview, you're going to receive steps to activate your wealth zone. I want you to write them down. I want you to do them. If someone doesn't resonate with you, of course, don't do that, right? But hopefully there will be enough people inside of this series, because I've got a variety of people, right? So there's going to be some people whose energy you resonate with. So follow what they say, because they all have great wisdom to share. They have all achieved at least 6 figures in their business, and some of them far beyond that. We're not really actually talking about how much they've made, but just so you know, I mean, they're all successful in their own right, and they all have great wisdom. So whoever you're resonating with, follow the action steps, download their free gift, really engage this series, because I've had so much fun recording these interviews, and I'm so excited to hear what you think.
Yeah. Well, and you were saying earlier about, find a business mentor. And what's beautiful about this series, Leela, is that there's so much free wisdom here. I mean, this is Leela's gift and all the speakers' gift to you that can help you start to take steps outside of your comfort zone and start to get into your learning zone and really start to stretch and see and start to think about how your business might actualize in the world. And so you don't need to be alone. And one other thing I wanted to say about what you said is about your investment. You were talking about the return on investment of hiring a business coach, and that you really saw that. I always say, what's the cost of doing it, and what's the return on investment of that, and what's the cost of not? Because a lot of people say, oh, I can't afford that. And it's like, but can you afford not to? Because a lot of people who don't make that investment, and some people are really savvy, but most people who are, it's like you're 90% more likely to get things happening when you hire a coach than when you don't. Yeah. So it's like to actually look at what would happen if I didn't hire a mentor. Where's my dream going to be a year from now versus me investing in this? Because it's like, well, especially with a business coach like Leela, it's like, you're going to make that money back pretty darn quick. And if you didn't invest in that, what's the chance that you're going to make that kind of money? So it's important to look at the return on investment and also what's the cost of not taking action, not finding mentors, not moving into your dream, because that's why you're all here. That's why you tune into this TeleJam or VideoJam. We're on video.
Yes.
So I just couldn't help myself. I had to share that.
Well, because she's a brilliant business coach, so that was brilliant wisdom coming through at you right there. Yes. What's the cost of not doing it? So, yes, that is a very important question. I love that you added that. Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, Leela, why don't you share with us, all of us, especially all of us in this, entrepreneurial business, spiritual realm, we're all about creating growth and change and bringing forward new ideas and new life into this world. So I'm curious about your current learning, your growth, your evolution. Like, what's your edge right now? And we'd love to hear some of your inner dialogue on that.
Okay. Well, you're seeing my edge right here, being on video.
Yeah.
This was a huge edge for me. And yeah, because I've had these issues with being seen because I'm carrying a lot of extra weight that I didn't used to carry. And it actually, in the past, like when I first took professional photos and, got them taken, I almost didn't want to take them until a year into my business, right? Because I was afraid of being seen. And of course they were like headshots, right? Like, so, because I actually didn't allow her to take full length photos. Then the next level was like going to Bali last year and letting the photographer take full length photos of me and being seen.
They're so beautiful too.
Thank you. Yeah, and saying, well, I am carrying extra weight, but I can still be beautiful. And it's part of my journey in terms of releasing, because I'm going to be focusing a lot more on being healthier, not just because I want to look better, but because I want to feel better. And so being on video also is part of this. It's like, I was afraid to be on video, and I used to get really nervous about it, and it went away so quickly as soon as I started doing these interviews, because it's so fun to be on video. So, but it's totally my current edge is like, okay, now what am I going to do with video? And what can I share? And even with you in this interview, I didn't have anything planned really regarding what I was going to share other than listen to the series and download your bonus audio. Those are the two things I knew I needed to say.
And look what showed up.
Yeah, but like just exploring that edge of just showing up how I am in videos, so you can look forward to me sending you videos in the future of just stuff I'm thinking about that might might open some stuff up for you from a really vulnerable and authentic place, because I'm really like exploring this edge, and I'm doing it inside of my year-long program too, of what I share with them, what I'm going through as I put together my own summit. I'm not keeping it hidden like I'm the mentor and you don't get to know my own personal struggles with what's happening. I like to share. I love leading, I love teaching, but I don't want to. Some mentors say that you should only share things when you're done, like when you're completely healed from them. And the distinction I will make is, like, I'm still working with video and I'm sharing it with you right now. If I share something that is really pulling on you for support, or you can tell I'm an emotional mess, then, that's not a good idea to share. But there are a lot of things that you can share that do not fall in that category. And so my edge right now is exploring how to share what's real right now and in the most vulnerable, transparent way possible. And so that's my edge. Yeah.
I love it. Well, and I just have to say that, you know me, I have a strong opinion about things, but that it's so, wow, it's so bold to say I've arrived, I mean, I think it's very interesting that people say you shouldn't share until you've gotten to this certain place. And it's like, that just implies that you've arrived, or you're a total master. And I believe that there are many levels of mastery, and we're never done until we die.
Yeah.
then we expire and go off. But like that, there's, I think there's something really beautiful in that. And what I love about that, Leela, is that sharing that vulnerability helps your followers, your clients see that, wow, I don't have to be perfect. Wow, Leela struggles with this too. She's human. Now I feel better. I mean, I imagine that makes them feel like, okay, I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to do this just right. I can have my imperfect journey. And the reality is that having a business is just like life, it's a bit of a roller coaster. There's like, woo! And then there are times where it's like, ah!
Yeah.
But then it always returns back to that exciting time. But it's not like this even keel thing, and it would be a I think it's a terrible disjustice to imply that is what it's like, because people need to, when people hit the kind of ebb and flow of the roller coaster, they need to have the courage and know that it's going to get better, and know that I've been there too. I think it's really, really benefits them.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. And I really appreciate that. And, I just, what I'm feeling compelled to share as well, as in reflection of what you just said, is like, I've had mentors before who you could tell that they were working on their weight, right? You could tell that, like, she was needing, that she felt uncomfortable about it, but she would never actually say anything about it. And then when she lost the weight, then she talked about it. And that really troubled me, because there were so many women in the community who would have benefited from her sharing while she was going through it. And it wouldn't have diminished her in our eyes. It would have actually helped many of us. And to hear that, and it wasn't like, it's not a place where we wanted her to be pulling on us for support in her journey, though we may have responded to that if she wanted that. But it was more just hearing that, because we all knew that it was happening, and then she didn't say it, right? And then so for anyone out there who's thinking about, well, should I share this about myself? Should I not? It's often just so helpful to share it, because I've had women say to me, well, thank you for sharing that you struggle with your weight and that you're having this issue, because it really is helping me now to know that I can do whatever it is I want to do, even though I'm struggling with that too, and to hear you talk about it and name it. So that was something that came up. And
that's huge. We all have our struggles, and I think, everybody's struggles are different, but I think it makes you human, and it's part of what makes you so approachable. And it's like, wow, look at how successful and wealthy Leela is, and she's not perfect.
Yeah.
And by the way, we wouldn't want you to be, because that's what makes you, all these things make you you. And it's like, yeah, our journey is to step more and more into our higher self. We have these moments when we're not. And I struggle with a lot of the same things that you do. That's part of why we're such good friends, and it's what makes me human. And I'm still working on those things. It's just part of the journey. And part of what will attract your ideal clients to you is who you be. And the more authentic you are, the more they're going to be able to see you.
Yes.
And we see you. And it's so great for you to be sharing, so vulnerably, so openly, so authentically as you always are. And it's so fun to interview you today and be a part of this.
Oh, thank you, Tara. Yeah, and you're just reminding me that I need to close the loop on something that I didn't finish before, which is the definition of wealth. And yeah, and I appreciate your reflections back. It's so fun to be here with you. And
Yay.
Yeah. So I don't think I ever finished defining true wealth, because I went into my journey with wealth and how following my truth was a really important part of that. And so I think that all of the trappings of wealth are wonderful. Like the traditional trappings. I love having a nice house. I love going on nice vacations. I just spent the month of August living a dream, actually, because I was traveling a lot. Went to Spain, went to San Diego, went to San Francisco, went to Hilton Head, South Carolina. I was home for all of 5 nights. I worked for maybe 6 days that whole month, and I made $10,000 at least that month. To break 5 figures and then only work 5 or 6 days, never thought that could happen, right? And so, but the 5 figures, I was making 5 figures easily a month in corporate, but that did not mean the same thing as the 5 figures that I made in August. And it's because I was tuned into my true wealth. I had first taken care of my relationship to myself, following my truth, being really on purpose, knowing that I was living my mission, and the other update is my relationship, which was flailing and failing at the time, has now is flourishing, and I'm falling in love with my husband again, which is so fun. Yeah, and yay! And that's true wealth. It wouldn't matter if I had all the money in the world. If I were in a miserable marriage, how can you be happy, right? And I started to get in touch with, in the past 2 months, my wild side again, and my pleasure and my Shakti energy, and and if you're not in touch with that, you can't be wealthy. So there are all these parts of yourself that need to come forth, and they have to do with you being in your body. They have to do with you taking care of yourself. They have to do with you loving yourself. They have to do with you being on purpose and doing what you and only you were born to do on this planet, and having relationships in your life that are flourishing. And so all of these different elements, when you're in that place of alignment, and then you create money, feels totally different than the other place that I used to be in. So
absolutely,
I'm more proud of whatever money I brought in August than I'm proud of any other bigger money I've earned ever in my life. Because
that's so great.
Yeah.
Well, what I love about that too is the symbiotic nature. I'm kind of doing the figure 8 here of you stepping into your truth, what you really want, your passion, your mission, your purpose, and the impact that has had on your business, on your relationship with your husband. It's all symbiotic. It's they all interrelate to each other, and it's beautiful to witness, because I've seen you through the ups and downs. It's beautiful to witness you really just owning it, stepping into it, and seeing the positive ramifications or outcomes of really stepping in. And it's beautiful to witness, and it's a beautiful testimony to why, it's you all can tell how just hand in glove this is with why you did this summit and why you're so passionate about, true wealth.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you for that witnessing again. Yeah. Woohoo! It's awesome.
Woohoo!
Yeah, it feels so good. Yeah. And gosh, thank you, Tara, for doing this with me. I so appreciate it. It's been so fun.
It has. It's just fun to be here with you and to be a little part of this beautiful video jam. And, thank you everyone for coming today. And just really want to encourage you to listen to that free bonus that Leela was talking about and keep tuning into the summit.
All right. Awesome. Well, everyone, it's been such a pleasure to be with you today, to share from my edge, to share my story, to share why I put this event together for you, because it's really coming from my heart to yours, and I hope it makes a difference for you, because I know that women like you who are tuning into an event like this, when more money goes into your hands, then you will use it to take care of your families, to take care of your communities, and to make a difference in the world. Because I know that that's what you're about. And I am so passionate about helping you to do that. So I look forward to hearing about the breakthroughs you have during this event and the aha moments inside our Facebook group. If you're not a part of our Facebook group, please join it. We'll be including links to that in our emails to you daily about the event. And I'm so thrilled to have been with you today. And go download your bonus now. Activate your wealth zone bonus. I couldn't resist throwing in that last piece. So yes, please go download that bonus now and listen to it. And I hope you enjoy it. And you can post your reflections on what you got from that in the Facebook group. So bye everybody.
Bye everyone.